that's the only way you would be able to connect with those beings on the communication level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was all radio wave frequencies, instrumentals. They even show that in the movie The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was able to manipulate the language and connect with higher interdimensional entities based upon music frequencies.
Yep. It all started out with different instruments, but you rarely see, the artists now using them. But I think it should get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
A cool side note. NASA, when they trying to communicate with beings from different places, they send Beethoven and Bach.
I heard about that. That's true, Rod. That's true.
Yeah, it's all their paperwork.
Wow. So you notice the word mentals in there, instrumental for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mental way to tap into your higher abilities. Because I think if you listen to classical music, I do it to my son. I let classical music play lightly in the background while he sleep because it helps weigh out both hemispheres of the brain.
Right.
Well, they did many studies on that too, Brother Rick. Using that classical music and fetal development, and plant and all kind of stuff. They use those different musics and it stimulates the synaptic network. Right. So if the synaptic network is just building and it's being stimulated, it's going to build itself thicker, faster, and stronger. Yeah. A lot of baby geniuses now are being born from listening to classical music during gestation.
I'm glad y'all mentioned that. I'm gonna keep that in mind. Y'all know my lady's pregnant, so I'm gonna keep that in mind. B-Dub. Thanks for bringing that up. The classical music, because that's some. You read and study so much. I forgot about that part, the classical music part. So I'm definitely gonna keep that in mind. We gonna get to listen. We about to hit the 2-hour mark. I'm gonna take 3 questions from the chat before we get out of here, y'all. I don't want to keep the brothers too long tonight. It's already 11. I appreciate it. It's 11:01. It's the 111. It's the 111. It just happened like that. It's the 111. But I'm gonna get to 3 questions and then we're gonna get out of here. Absolutely magnificent show. We got about 4,300 people in the chat. Wow, 4,300 people in the chat. Shout out to all of y'all. Let's get to 3 questions. Let me see if I got any questions in the super chat before I. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna get to a super chat question. Shout out to the super chat. Appreciate the support. You know what? Because somebody, family, brothers. Before I get to the super chat, tell the family, because somebody asked about supporting y'all. Y'all Cash App if they want to show y'all some love on the Cash App or whatever. Before we get to the 3 questions, y'all, we can start out with RFG, then B-Dale, then Rod Hayes. If you got a Cash App or whatever, and the family want to show y'all love, let them know how they could do that, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have PayPal, and I just recently created a Cash App like about 2 weeks ago. So if you want to Cash App me, you can send whatever to $capital RFG capital CHOSEN the number 1. That is $capital RFG capital CHOSEN 1 the number 1, and as well as PayPal amoapoxia@gmail.com. So that's AMOAPOKSIA@gmail.com for PayPal donations.
All right, B down.
It's $Brydell Rice, BRYDELLRICE.
Okay. And Rod.
Mine is capital SIK capital APE.
All right, I think King Simon's in the chat. If King Simon's in the chat, he'll write it down. Shout out to King Simon if you're in the chat. If you could put that in the chat while we get to a couple of these questions. Let's get to this first super chat. All right, Armani says, Rich and Panel of Kings, do you think they watch you and schedule these bullshit election events like tonight, on purpose to try to throw off the energy because they know what's up. Please ask.
The entire electoral process is nothing but an illusion. You only had two presidents out of 46 that tried to like make some form of a significant change, and they were assassinated. So 44 out of 46 presidents, basically did everything that their puppet masters ordered them to do. And there's been no president to change the economic status or the fact that we're looked at as fourth and fifth class citizens in this country. There's been no presidential candidate to change that dynamic, and I don't believe that there ever will be.
That's something the president can't change anyway. He can't do nothing to make people treat people any kind of way. He don't have that jurisdictional authority.
Right.
But the whole political stage show is a distraction. The only reason it's there is so that you don't know that we being dictated to. Right? They attribute the writing of the bills to this senator or that congressman. They ain't wrote jack. They didn't write nothing. Somebody gave it to them and said, "This is your agenda." That's part of the process of being over there. If you realize that it's a political satire and stop participating in it. But as far as them trying to disrupt the energy, they don't schedule it because Brother Rich scheduled the show. They schedule it based off time, day, and stellar alignment. Because that's how they determine how to interrupt the energy. By time, day, and stellar alignment. And if they can control when the energy is disrupted, they can control the outcome of putting the energy back in order.
Indeed. Fire. Somebody is a little upset in the chat, and they keep writing, name one female. Well, I don't know if they're upset, but they keep writing, name one female in the Galactic Council. So go ahead, y'all. What's going on? Are any females in the Galactic Council? Because
the Lyrans have a council of female advisors to the Galactic Council, and a representative that sits on the Galactic Council that's female. The Arcturians have two people sitting on the council, one male, one female. I'm not going to go through the whole Galactic Council, but there's plenty of women on the Galactic Council.
Okay. All right.
According to the Dogon, the center of the galaxy is female.
Yeah, Big Mama controlling everything anyway, so.
And we call her Power, and that's why she's on the 13th Zodiac seat, dead center, in the Temple of GINDJAB.
All right, let's get to another question. Hopefully this person isn't as mad. Are the entities that are pulling up to assist humanity new breeds of humans?
I would call them ancient breeds.
Say that again. Say that again.
I said I would call them ancient breeds.
Okay.
Them bloodlines are not what we have become on Earth now.
Okay.
Remember, they were separated, genetically separated for a long period of time. And what happens, you develop from a lion and a tiger from the same source.
Right.
Fundamentally different cats, but they're compatible with each other sexually.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, look.
Y'all, shout out,
you know, if the people in this country really understood the level of innocent Charles Manson was, it would really shake the foundation of everything they believe. Charles Manson was what's called the first whistleblower on record. He was the first one telling us about the LSD program. while he was using LSD, by the way, that he was getting from the government, by the way, that the government admitted to giving to him to give to the children of the family, that he was supposed to be formulating a war with Joseph Senku, who later became the Symbionese Liberation Army. All this is government records.
Man, this is deep.
Right? But we don't want to read no government records. We rather go read some Louis L'Amour or some Anne Rice if we read at all.
Right.
Right? Very few people as nosy as me to go looking and saying what the government say about it. This nigga put it in the book, but what did the government say about it?
Right.
Right. And when you pull the government document, now you got the action. I put a post up and I said, we exposed them lying liars and the lies they lied about and signed they lying ass names to the lies they told. Right? This how you find out who the dirt dealers is, by finding out who created the condition, who told him to create the condition. So if they telling you that it's an operational government program, formerly known as Artichoke, but because they almost got exposed, they changed the name to MK Ultra. Right? Now, when they changed the name to MK Ultra, they drafted all of the greatest scientists from Canada and the United States, because they are in a war, Cold War-like condition with the rise of this guy they call Adolf Hitler. While he's rising, he's doing psychological research too, that he was privy to through the Thule Society, and all of modern psychiatry and psychology is derived from temple priest rites. And if you don't know what the temple priest taught, you would never equate what the psychiatrist, the psychologist, your AA, your ENA, all that is pyramid priest culture. If you go back to the Zulu tribe, when the men come back from war, they got a detox period that they have to go through before they matriculate back into society. Now, why would you need that? We are all post-traumatic stress disorder from a 500-year protracted struggle across generations against an enemy that looked like us, looking us in our face, telling us that other people is the enemy that don't look like us, and got us so convinced that while they killing us, pretending to be us, and blaming it on the people that don't look like us, we ain't never paying attention to why we can't pull ourselves up by our bootstraps that this nigga stole. He stole my boots, but he want me to pull myself up by my bootstraps.
Cold nigga, that's it. That's in live for you, boy. That's in live for you. Type of nigga to tell you, hey, he'll tell you, hey, he go $1, go to the store and buy me a bag of chips. And then he'll call to the store before you get there and tell him, hey, it's a nigga there for to come up there with a red shirt on. Don't sell them no chips. Just to see how it turn out and laugh at, just so he can laugh about it. What type of niggas is that, Roy, man? You know, then you told me you sent me up here to get the chips. Then you call people and tell them don't sell me none.
We call them practical jokers.
You know what I'm saying? Practical jokers. That's it, Lil.
So they asked about Branch Davidians and David Koresh. The thing that I like to tell people is when you see that video, when they saying, I say I'm Jesus Christ, ask to see about 30 seconds before that. because he gonna tell you that the government is telling people that I said I am Jesus Christ, but they cut everything off but the I am Jesus Christ to justify blowing this man up. They know there ain't no pale-faced, stringy-haired man gonna ever be Jesus, because Jesus is ISIS. So when they have these people that they accuse to be Jesus, that they so-called ceremonially crucifying, right? They not telling you that the reason why they automatically know this person ain't the Christ is because he the wrong gender, he the wrong skin complexion, and the wrong hair texture, right? So they automatically know, but they always use the Christ narrative in order to label people a heretic that they want to execute. And what he was actually doing that had the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms there is he was buying gun replicas of heavy military artillery and converting them into fully operational, and he was selling it to the militias. So the ATF traced militia raids that they had with various militia groups that they slaughtered, like they did them people at Ruby Ridge that had the right to defend themselves and their property, right? But the government don't care about your rights. When it's time to slaughter you, they just gonna slaughter you. And they use this Jesus thing as the cover story to convince people that David Koresh was totally insane and that he was doing all of these nefarious things. Some of it he might have been doing, but he wasn't doing all of that stuff they say he was doing. Because once they get him to the point where he might become a martyr, they have to hang him in effigy next, which means assassinate the entirety of his character so that there will be no what you call copycat groups rising up to avenge him. They practice on him, but their goal is people like Larry Hoover, right? So they want to know, how do we get Angel Bay? Go back and look at this stuff, and they literally said they listened to them long enough to make up a code off the language that they was talking, right? And that they created a code language for the Peace Stone Nation. The government just telling you they doing it, and that they using this to entrap Jeff Ford. They telling you in the documentary that this is what they did. They brought in linguists and specialists from around the country to sit there and analyze their natural rhythm of language and to come up with a code that they can use to justify a sting operation that they used to arrest a man that's in prison and people that they called his accomplices and accused them of terrorist activity in a terrorist plot that the CIA created, because they tell you that they did it to get Jeff Ford. They admitted it, and he's still in there, and the government is fully 100% aware that just his presence alone affects how these soldiers feel as a man. We don't cry free Angel Bay, Jeff Ford, because the government's effigy hanging tactic, in his case, he's the Godfather buried alive, right? Benny Lee squeaked out their grasp. They had him. He got out. Willie Lord got out and escaped their grasp, but he wouldn't act right by his family, so his family did what they did to him. Right? And they still got other kings in the Vice Lord Nation that's functional and operational to aid and assist the fellow righteous brothers in the rebuilding of our communities, but they don't want to be a part of it if the government involved, because every time the government get involved, they FRS up. They took our breakfast programs, used them in our community long enough to take them to somebody else's community before they cut them off in ours. We didn't see it coming. They gave Angel Bay money. The government gave him money to do what he was doing just so they can accuse him of fraud for doing what he did with the money. It's a grant. It was a grant from the government to pay for the work he was doing already in the community. Look it up. I'm not making none of this up. And if there's any people from Chicago that's in the comments, tell them, am I making this up? They told on themselves. I didn't write none of them government documents. They wrote them. And they told you what they did, how they did it. And it's the same MO they used. They burned up and blew up Philadelphia, moved Brother John Africa.